Hi friends, this is Monica Roy with almost 16 years of experience in learning and organizational development. Many times my students ask me about the Kirkpatrick level of training evaluation. Without further ado, here I go. Kirkpatrick's 4-level training evaluation model. Anytime when you deliver training to your team, you need to know how effective it's been. Are your people putting their learning into practice? And is it positively impacting their role and the wider organization? Well, Kirkpatrick's 4-level training evaluation model can help you answer these questions. You can use it to objectively analyze the impact of training, to work out how well your team members learned, and to improve their learning even in the future. Donald Kirkpatrick formulated this, and he first published this model in 1959. He again updated it in the year 1979 and again in the year 1993. Each successive level of model represents a more, precise measure of the effectiveness of the training program. It was developed further by Donald and his son James, and then by James and his wife. Now coming to the levels of those, we are talking about the 4 levels are: number 1 is reaction, then level 2 is learning, level 3 is behavior, and the level 4 is results. Let's talk about the level 1. Level 1, that is reaction. You want people to feel that training is valuable. Measuring how engaged they were, how actively they contributed, and how they reacted to the training helps you to understand how well they received it. It also enables you to make improvements to future programs by identifying important topics that might have been missing. The questions to ask the trainees may be: did you feel that the training was worth your time? Or did you think that it was successful? Or did you like the venue and the presentation style? What do you think are the biggest strengths and the weaknesses of the training program? Did the training session accommodate your personal learning styles? From what you have learned, what do you plan to apply in your job? And what support might you need to apply what you learned? Identifying how you want to measure people's reactions, many people use employee satisfaction surveys to do this. Analyze the feedback and consider the changes that you could make in a response. Now coming to level 2. Level 2 is learning. Level 2 focuses on measuring what your trainees have and haven't learned. In the New World version of the tool, level 2 also measures what they think they'll be able to do differently as a result. How confident they are they can do this, and how motivated they are to make changes. This demonstrates how training has developed their skills, their attitudes, their knowledge, as well as their confidence and commitment. To measure how much your trainees have learned, start by identifying what you want to evaluate. Training sessions should have specific learning objectives, so make those your starting point. You can measure learning in different ways depending on the objectives, but it's helpful to measure these areas both before and after training. Before the training begins, test your trainees to determine their knowledge, skill levels, and attitudes. Then, when the training is finished, test your trainees a second time to measure what they have learned, or measure their learning with interviews or let's say verbal assessments. Let's come to level 3, behavior. This level helps you to understand how well people apply their training. It can also reveal where people might need help. But behavior can only change when conditions are favorable. Imagine that you are assessing your team members after a training session. You can see little change and you conclude that they learned nothing and the training was ineffective. It's possible, however, that they actually learned a lot, but the organizational or team culture obstructs behavioral change. Perhaps existing processes mean that there is little scope to apply new thinking. As a result, your people don't feel confident in applying new knowledge or see few opportunities to do so, or they may not have enough time to put this into practice. Be sure to develop processes that encourage, reinforce, and reward positive changes in behavior. The New World Kirkpatrick model calls these processes required drivers. If a team member uses a new skill effectively, highlight this and praise him or her for it. Effectively measuring behavior is a longer term process that should take over weeks or months following the initial training. Well, questions to ask may include: Did the trainees put any of the learning to use? Are trainees able to teach their new knowledge, skills, or attitudes to other people? Are trainees aware that they have changed their behavior? One of the best ways to measure behavior is to conduct observations and interviews. Another is to integrate the use of new skills into the tasks that you set your team, so that people have the chance to demonstrate what they know. Well, level 4, results. At this level, you analyze the final results of your training. This includes outcomes that you or your organization have decided are good for business and good for your team members, and which demonstrate a good return on investment, the ROI. Some adapted versions of the model actually have a level 5 dedicated to a workout ROI, and some days back I was just attending a very nice workshop on the same. Level 4 will likely be the most costly and time consuming, no doubt about it. Your biggest challenge will be to identify which outcomes, benefits, or final results are most likely linked to the training, and to come up with an effective way to measure these outcomes in the long term. Modern trainers often use Kirkpatrick model backward, by first stating the result they want to see and then developing the training that is most likely to deliver them. This helps to prioritize the goals of the training and make it more effective. Well, the key points are: the Kirkpatrick 4-level training evaluation model is designed to objectively measure the effectiveness of training. The model, as I said, was created by Donald Kirkpatrick in 1959 with several revisions made since. Reaction, learning, behavior, and results are the 4 levels. By analyzing each level, you can gain an understanding of how effective a training initiative was and how to improve it in the future. However, the model isn't practical in all situations, and measuring training effectiveness with it can be time consuming and resource intensive. So, it should be done, or it should be used with caution. Thank you, friends, for your time. Bye bye.